JD here, and I'm very pleased to say that we have finally got underway with the league racing season on F125. It feels like an absolute eternity. After 6 pre-season races, we took part in 5 of them, managed to get a win, multiple podiums. I was quite excited to get the season started, and you can see by the calendar, quite a different calendar with a few different formats. And yeah, some things I'm happy with and some things I'm maybe not a huge fan of. One of them is this track, Imola. I just find it very, very difficult. I think it's a very technical track. I think probably this and Baku are going to be my 2 weakest tracks on the calendar, just in terms of raw pace and confidence. So yeah, I came into here still being positive, because in a championship it is about consistency, and I think arguably some consistency, maybe not the last season but the season before, I think cost me that championship, where we had the pace to win races, we have won races, we've got podiums, but it's about when you aren't performing your best.
So much time to move out of the way.
Yeah, you hear me here say here, this Red Bull driver didn't actually report him for this. I probably should have done, just to set a bit of a precedent,
what the fuck
but
is he doing?
yeah, I'm not sure.
Are people just brain dead in the sleep? Seriously.
Not really sure what he was doing there when he wasn't even on the lap and he was going in the pits. But yeah, in this session, you can see it starts off in the wets, and we were struggling quite a lot, finishing P12. I think it might even be, no, it's P14 in Q1, so not a good Q1. However, there are a few shock exits. Suzuki, last year's champion in the Mercedes, he is knocked out, and same with Batfall, very, very fast. So these conditions catching people out, but initially, raw pace was not good, and I already did know that in practice, comparing some times to other people. I don't think it's really so much a setup. I think it's just the way I drive. You have to be super, super committed to Imola, really throwing it over the curbs. And yeah, I think as always in the race, we are fairly strong, but in a qualifier around here, I was really, really struggling.
That felt actually decent, to be honest.
Let me say that, I actually felt like that was a decent lap. See Montana 13.6, and we just scraped through. But shock exit, you can't see on the screen, but Carl 24, probably the favourite for this year's championship, he was knocked out, just got caught out. I think he invalidated his last lap. You can see the track was getting faster and faster as well. So we've somehow managed to make my way into Q3 when I don't think I had any business on pace. Sometimes it's not always about pace, it's just about just getting about a lap and doing what you need to. And we managed to somehow get through into this Q3, and honestly, if we could start in the top 6 or 7, I would have been pretty happy at that. And I think if Suzuki and Carl were in here, they would have 100% beat me in this qualifying. And yeah, so we pretty much have absolutely nothing to lose at this point. And this lap here, just to put it in perspective, my PB was a 13.6. I only did 1.6 in practice and did a few 0.7s, 0.8s. So I'd say normally it would be like a 0.7 to be a really good lap. And this lap here, I felt like was actually pretty solid for me. Probably like a 7.5 out of 10. Something like that. I really couldn't really gain that much time. I wasn't really too upset, but you could just see, watching other people's on boards, which I've had a bit of an analysis of this, I just wasn't really committed through the corners whatsoever, and come across line, it's a 13.8, a low 0.8.
That's a good lap for me. That's actually a decent lap for me. So.
And yeah, that is actually crazy enough, not a bad lap, but you can see Montana, a 12.7, his teammate, or not teammate, but someone in the same team as him, it's a 12.9, so that is, we're like over a second away from pole, which, even though I'm not that great in qualifying, doesn't really happen to me that often. So yeah, the pace of the front runners were absolutely ridiculous in the qualifying, but you can see we actually get a really good start, because if you start on the right hand side of the grid, you just have a better angle, you don't have to turn the wheel as much, and you actually get much better traction. So up into P7 already. And you can see Vaporizer starting at the front row has a really bad start here. Montana is already off into the distance. And yeah, this Mercedes drive up here, you'll be seeing him quite a lot throughout the race. We had a bit of discussion after the race where he did apologise to me. for a number of things you're about to see, so don't go too hard. But yeah, he is usually a clean driver, and I don't think he was being dirty, but I think some of his maneuvers were a little bit questionable and probably did cost me quite a lot. And I think one of them you're about to see is here now. Kind of get a little bit forced onto the grass there. So we're going to go for this overtake. He tries to hold it around the outside. My rear wheel kind of got locked with his, and that pushed him a little bit out wide. So that's not really a corner you want to be going side by side in. So yeah, that was kind of like the first incident between us, and we benefited. We actually made up 2 positions on that one, so it's actually a pretty good start. And after the first few laps, I felt like my pace was really good. My wings aren't necessarily super high, but I think they were definitely higher than quite a lot of people around me, because they really started to struggle on their tyres. And you can see up ahead of me we've got 5th, 4th, and I think that's 3rd, and then even 2nd. So we're right in the lead train. Montana has cleared off into the distance. He is absolutely rapid. He is running no assists, by the way. I think he does just run the racing line, but doesn't run ABS or traction or anything like that. So yeah, he was just absolutely rapid. And you can see trying to get some moves done on Anton, but as you can see by the title of this video, something we will be discussing a little bit in this video, if you are not running lower wings than the guy up ahead of you, and he hasn't run out of battery, or if he doesn't make a significant mistake, it is almost impossible to overtake. And Imola is a very difficult track to overtake, don't get me wrong, but I think if you watch the eSport guys, the F1 eSports in PSGL, WOR, you know, there's a lot of complaints going around league racing at the moment, and you can see he's made a big mistake there, so that is a free position up into P5, so not too bad so far. But on this game, you need to be running lower wings than the guy ahead of you. If the guy ahead of you has DRS on the car ahead of him, you're pretty much not getting past. The only way you're going to get past in this game is if you have a huge tyre delta, you're on a different compound of tyre, or you have like 4 to 5 lap freshest tyres, and you've got so much momentum going in your favour. That is the only way. Because I think just on this game right now, they need to fix the slipstream. The slipstream is almost just non-existent. I'd say if I was to rank it out of 100 in terms of its effectiveness, I'd probably be giving it 5 out of 100. That's what I'd be giving it, where it needs to be kind of 20, 30, and then the closer you get, the more powerful it actually needs to become. So the dirty air, I'm all for the dirty air. I'm glad we actually have it, but if you don't have that one-to-one with the slipstream, the same effect as you would do with the dirty air, it makes it literally impossible to overtake. And I think that's why you are seeing a lot of complaints around the league racing scene right now, especially with F1 eSport drivers, because respectfully, the more competitive drivers you are going against, the more of this issue that you will be facing. And yeah, it was a big issue for me. You'll see it here, and I think moving forward, I'm pretty much going to be forced to run pretty low wings, whether I like it or not, because, and it's not just that, but you just don't get the benefit of running a high downforce in this game, so you don't get any better tyre wear, tyre temperatures, or anything at all. So if you ran 10-10 wings and someone's running 30-30 wings, that person with the overall 30-30 wings, way more downforce, their tyre wear isn't actually going to be better. But it should be, because they're not sliding around as much because they have more downforce. So, no, in this scenario here where I don't have DRS and the car behind me has lower wings and he's got DRS than me, it's going to make it quite comfortable. You can see Suzuki, he pitted a lap before me. He has a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit. So we're not actually going to be challenging. We're at anything, I'm going to be using him to kind of drag me forward. So yeah, it didn't want to cost us both time there. But now the issue in this race is coming up as well, and also combined with the wings and just how hard it is to overtake, we're coming up to his teammate now, who was the first person to pit. So he's got the oldest tyres, then it's Suzuki, then it's myself. I actually pitted quite early because I didn't want to get undercutted in the track position. In hindsight, I think this was a bit of a mistake, because yeah, the tyres were really suffering. So Suzuki has got past his teammate here, and I was really hoping to get past Suzuki's teammate to then stay in the DRS of Suzuki and then really use him to drag me along. I have a lap pressure tyres on him as well, so I should be able to stay with him. So you can see here now, trying to burn the battery, but again, this Mercedes ahead of me does have lower wings, and he's got the DRS on his teammate as well. They both have penalties. So yeah, it wasn't like I wasn't expecting to fight, but I didn't think he'd be putting up this much of a fight, but you're about to see here now, like right here, he's not even burning the battery really. Now he decides to burn it at this point, and yeah, it's literally impossible to overtake. There's literally nothing you can do. You have to have lower wings, or you have to have a major pace advantage of probably about a second, or like a difference in 4 to 5 laps in tyres, which would give you like a second in delta. And you can see here now, we're burning all the ERS, but we can't even get alongside. And Vaporizer has got much lower wings. We actually get a tap on the rear as well. So all this is doing is just costing me time, allowing Suzuki to get away. And this is actually eating into the tyre wear quite a bit. So now his teammate doesn't have it, but we don't have enough ERS. And yeah, even though you can see like we're barely making any inroads, he doesn't even have the DRS, but we've just got absolutely no battery. Vaporizer goes around the outside because he's got so much fresher tyres and better straight line speed. And yeah, the Mercedes, yeah, I don't know what he was doing there. Yeah, usually he's a very clean driver, but I think a little bit borderline questionable some of the things he was doing in this race. And again, you can see Suzuki, look how much he has gone up the road now, how much time this actually costs us. Vaporizer, he's got so much more better tyres than me, and pace and straight line speed. He actually does me going into the last corner, so we're not going to fight this too hard. And again, it was really hard for me to save battery because I was trying to use it to stay as close as I can. But you can see on the straights, you see he lets Vaporizer go, but then parks it in the middle for me.
This guy,
yeah,
man, fucking hell.
I don't know what he was doing really. He's got a penalty as well, and yeah, I'm not really too sure what he was doing in this race, but that has actually cost me so much. I think if we could have got past him cleanly, then if we could have stayed with Suzuki, I felt pretty confident we could have stayed with Suzuki, even though we probably couldn't overtake him until the end of the race when his tyres are fried. We could have actually at least used him. And Zeddy, who's got fresher tyres than me as well. I think I pitted just way too early in this race. I should have waited for another lap or 2 laps a little bit later, but I just really wanted that track position and then to use people to drag me along. But yeah, running into this Mercedes. But again, on this game, if you're running higher wings than someone, then yes, you might be able to stick with them through the corners. But on the straights, now if they've got DRS in the car ahead of them, you're pretty much going to be stuck. Like I said, you need a 3 to 4 lap delta or a completely different compound fresh out the box. That's the only way, or maybe at the end of the race when the tyres really drop, then you might do it then. See, we're not really fighting Schumacher. He's on way fresher tyres on a different compound as well. So again, I'm just trying to work smarter, not harder here. And we're coming into lap 26. We're really starting to struggle with the car. So everyone behind me has pitted later than me. They have much fresher tyres than me. And I was just really struggling. You can see by the mini-map, look how far Suzuki is ahead on track. And he's actually on a lap older tyres as well. So if we could have just stuck with him. So overall, the pace was not good in this race. Just pitted too early, and yeah, just getting caught up in a few things that we didn't, which certainly didn't help the tyre wear situation. So see, the guys behind me have penalties as well, so we're not going to fight this. If anything, we're just going to try and use them to not lose as much time, because there's a couple of guys up ahead who have like a 10-second penalty, so we need to try and stay within that 10 seconds, because right now I think we're on the cusp of being outside those 10 seconds. So I was trying my absolute best to not lose any time as much as possible. Now we've got my substitute teammate. It's not my regular teammate, which is Meg the Face. Couldn't make it this race, so we're not going to fight this too hard. And yeah, and you can see the Mercedes. Look how far he has dropped behind, and he only pitted, I think, like 2 laps before me. So you can see the difference in tyre wear on the number of laps you pitted on is pretty extreme. But yeah, honestly, I think with Codemasters, I think especially for the F1 esports scene, the really competitive leagues, they're going to really need to make a patch. As Suzuki, you can see, pitted about a lap or 2 before me, and he has got a puncture. So that's how hard he was pushing. He's pushing so hard, and just a lap earlier has that puncture. And now we're coming to the last lap. We were actually being closed in on by the likes of Carl and Paco behind, who again on much fresher tyres. And you can see there's already carnage again. Someone's cutting across the grass completely, and as we go towards the line, let's see who this is. I think that is going to be Zelly, who's also got a punch. He pitted in the lap. I think he pitted after me, but he's on the controller. And we actually come home in P6 with potentially more penalties to come up ahead of me. But yeah, that was round one. The conceded Montana, the gap he had was just absolutely ridiculous, his pace. And no, for me, my pace was not great this race, but I think, yeah, the terms of strategy and just being caught up with that little Mercedes battle cost me a lot of time. But again, I do think actually moving forward that Codemasters really need to consider, it's not so much the handling. The handling I'm a big fan of. I think it's really nice to drive, but it's just the balancing with the slipstream, the DRS, the dirty air. There needs to be big changes to actually make it possible. And I know some people are saying, well, in real life it's realistic, that's what's like in real life, but real life they don't have equal cars. Some of the cars are actually much faster than the others when they're overtaking as well, so it's not quite the same. And when everyone is driving on a very equal playing field in terms of ability, you should have a benefit if you are in the slipstream of someone. It's really as simple as that. And at the moment, there is literally no gains from being in the slipstream at all. You have to be running lower wings or vice versa, or things with tyres and everything that says. So I really think there needs to be a patch to address this, because otherwise I think league racing is probably going to be a very long season for a lot of the competitive leagues. But let me know what you think. Let me know if you think any changes do need to be made. We have Hungary this weekend at Sunday, so I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully you join me there at 7 PM UK time, and I will catch you very soon. Peace.